Hello, in this mini-series you're going to learn how to interact with rigid objects, deformable objects, and articulations. We'll cover these three topics focusing only on the fundamentals and general implementations rather than going into every function call in detail. Since the implementation specifics can vary based on your unique use case, I encourage you to refer to the official documentation for deeper insights. Okay, so let us start with part 1, interacting with rigid objects. Here, we will learn how to create green cones dropping from randomized heights and interacting with the ground plane. We will look at two functions, design scene, which is responsible for adding all the prims to the scene, and run simulation, which is responsible for stepping the simulator and interacting with the prims in the scene. To execute the code, we need 4 new imports, which as a reminder have to be imported after the simulation is set up and run. First, we have Torch, a library for tensor computations, which is often used for handling positions, states, and other simulation data. Then we have MathUtils, which provides mathematical utilities for simulations, like sampling for positions and transformations. Rigid Object, which represents a rigid objects with physical properties and state management. And a Rigid Object CFG, which is the configuration class for defining the properties and behavior of a rigid object. The other libraries are already known from the previous videos. Previously, we have learned how to spawn different objects, or prims, into the simulation, like the ground plane and the LycheeAI, which are using config and func methods. Also introduced were xforms, which are created here at specific positions. We start with a list of 4 positions representing x, y, and z coordinates, and each position represents a location where we want to create a group. Using a loop, we then create an xform prim at each of these positions. We end up with 4 xform prims named world/origin 0 to origin 3. In this tutorial, we will learn a different approach on how to create and interact with a rigid object instead of the func method. For this, we will use the rigid object class provided in Isaac Lab. The only difference is that now we wrap the spawning configuration into the rigid object CFG class. This class contains information about the asset's spawning strategy, default initial state, and other meta information. When this class is passed to the rigid object class, it spawns the object and initializes the corresponding physics handles when the simulation is played. It uses a regular expression to match all parent prims under world whose names start with origin, for example origin 0, origin 1. When passed to rigid object, it automatically spawns a cone at each matching path as a child prim. For example, world origin 1 cone. And this line is setting the initial state of the rigid objects. It defaults to the identity pose, which means that the position, rotation, linear and angular velocity are 0. In comparison, the func method is simple and great for quick tests or small scenes, but it can become very repetitive and hard to manage for complex setups. On the other hand, Rigid Object CFG and Rigid Object offer cleaner, reusable, and more organized configurations for handling multiple objects efficiently, though they require more setup and might feel unnecessary for simple cases. Since we want to interact with a rigid object, we pass this entity back to the main function. This entity is then used to interact with a rigid object in the simulation loop. In later tutorials, we will see a more convenient way to handle multiple scenes using the interactive scene class. Now coming to the run simulator function, it handles the main simulation loop, resets the object states, steps the simulation, and updates data buffers. It takes in the parameters simulation context as sim, the cone entities in a dictionary, and the origins in a tensor format. After extracting the object from the dictionary, which will later be replaced by the interactive scene class, we set the time step to the default physics time step of 0.017, which corresponds to 60 Hz, and start the main simulation loop. Inside, we reset the simulation every 250 steps to the default root state. An important note is that in order to reset the simulation state of the spawned rigid object prim, we need to define their pose and velocity in the simulation world frame, as the physics engine operates in the global coordinate system rather than the local frame of the parent xform prim. In easier words, this means we need to specify the object's exact position and movement in the global coordinate system rather than the relative to its parent. This ensures that the simulation correctly interprets the object's location and dynamics in the overall environment. To achieve this, we first get the default root state, which we initialized as 0 for all, and then adjust it to the origins we defined earlier. Afterwards, we can apply a randomization with the sample cylinder function. To update the simulation with the object's new state, we use the method writeRootState to sim. In the end, we use the reset method to clear any internal simulation data related to the rigid object, ensuring it starts fresh with the newly defined state. Before stepping the simulation, we perform the writeData_to_sim method, which writes other data, such as external forces, into the simulation buffer. However, in this tutorial, we do not apply any external forces to the rigid object, so it's kind of unnecessary. However, it's included for completeness. After stepping the simulation, we update the internal buffers to the rigid object prims to reflect their new state inside the rigid object.data attribute. Now, as a reminder, we first design the scene, then start it, and afterwards control the simulation. In this tutorial, we learned how to spawn rigid objects and wrap them in a rigid object class to initialize their physics handlers, which allows setting and obtaining their state. If you have found the tutorial helpful and want to see more, consider subscribing. Also comment on what you would like to see next. Thank you. Bye.